When I arrived here, the enforcer was already a little bit angry because when they tried to apprehend this rider, he allegedly ran away and had to be chased.
Okay nga. Saan ko pinagawa?
Hindi lang po sa kakilala ko po.
Sa Facebook?
Hindi po.
Okay. Magkano bayad mo?
5K.
Hindi ka dumaan sa proseso. Walang exam, walang driving test. Ha? Paano mo man? Hindi kasi LTO kumukuha. LTO lang naman nag-i-issue nito. Kaibigan mo ba LTO?
Sabi, yun po kasi yung sabi nila sa akin, sir.
Sayang yung 5,000 mo.
Kaya po, sir. Hindi ko nga.
Kaya? Impounded pa motor mo.
Somebody already came out and showed their license for this car, so it's only a ticket instead of being towed. Much more affordable, only 1,000 pesos. This rider was apprehended because both daddy and child don't have crash helmets, also driving in slippers. There's another tricycle over here. Unfortunately, no drivers so far. I expect to see a lot of vehicles towed away very shortly. That's the reality of having so many vehicles obstructing the sidewalk. Mothers and children end up walking in the road. Every day people complain about objects like that obstructing the sidewalk. But then when the MMDA team confiscate them and put them on the clearing truck, people complain and say, hey, you're heartless. You're taking away people's way of earning a living. You can't have it both ways. You can't clear the sidewalk roads and also allow people to continue doing the same thing every day.
Okay naman, maganda yan kasi para malinis yung kalsada at hindi nakaka-traffic. Para yung mga tao, on-flowing yung mga daan nila, tsaka yung mga sasakyan dire-diretso. Para walang sagabal sa daan. Salamat!
That's the thing I have to start doing more, is asking residents, what do you think about what the MMDA are doing? So far, no one's come out for this tricycle parked on the sidewalk, so the enforcer's writing out the ticket now, and most likely it will get towed away. This car is partially on the sidewalk, partially on the road. Enforcer just left the ticket under the windscreen wiper. If it's still here by the time the tow truck arrives, most likely it'll get taken away. There's another motorcycle. He was just warned not to join the road because obviously he's got 2 children on there with no crash helmets. See, this guy is warning everyone, hey, go back, go back. Again, they don't have crash helmets. He might think, oh, I'm saving them. Actually, you're making road safety worse because when no one gets caught, no one gets penalized, nobody changes what they're doing. And this ride is being flagged down now. Unfortunately, driver, passenger, no crash helmet. You have the classic pointing if I'm just going nearby. People often say it's just a short trip. Pretty much every trip is a short trip. You're going to the shop, you're going to the pharmacy, you're going to work, you're going home, you're going here, visiting a friend. Pretty much all the trips will be short trips. But you could still have an accident even if it's just nearby. Thankfully he does have a driver's license. The MC just came out now. No helmet on the back, holding the box. The lady did jump down quickly, but she wasn't quick enough. So the enforcer's going to come in now, ask for the license. The rider seems to think that as long as it's not Commonwealth, he's okay to ride with the passenger, no helmet. I don't know if people really believe this or they're just trying their luck with enforcers. That one from earlier is already going on the tow truck. The driver had a lot of time to come out and move it if they wanted. I can see that rider that was ticketed earlier has been apprehended again. You're actually meant to push the bike until you get a helmet. The ticket does not act as any kind of protection for your head.
That's what I mean. Hindi yung pupunta kayo doon, di ba? Papakita nyo sa amin yung ticket, at tikita na kami. Mali po eh, mali yung mindset, di ba? May ask na itabi nyo na lang po muna yung motor, lakarin na lang, nandiyan na lang yung barangay, hall, o kaya mag-tricycle. Boss, sandali lang. Ma'am, sakay ko na lang ng tricycle. Sige na namin. Hoy! Sandali! Sakay ko na lang po ng tricycle, ma'am.
You may have noticed in the background that they also apprehended another gentleman. No shoes, no helmet, unfortunately. This gentleman just drove through now, cigarette in his hand, no crash helmet, just casual. The crazy thing is he has a helmet, but it's just hanging there. If he put it on his head, he could have saved 1,500. Here on IBP Road, there was a lot of vehicles parked here. Some of them already tried to drive away, but the enforcers are asking for the license to issue a ticket. There were also a lot of motorcycles on the other side, but as soon as they see enforcers coming, they push all the motorcycles inside. That's always the challenge for enforcers. People know they're not meant to park there. So as soon as they see them or hear them coming, a lot of people will try to escape or hide the vehicle. I'm not sure if there's a driver yet for this pickup truck. There's certainly no one inside the vehicle, and I can see the towing crew walking around. Further along the road, they came across a lot of tricycles parked, making a terminal. Allegedly, they don't have a permit to operate here to convert this part of the road into a terminal. So far, no drivers came out to claim ownership of this bike. I suspect they're inside the chicken shop, maybe an employee, and I think as soon as the tow truck arrives, they're going to come out. But let's just wait and see. A lot of people got used to ignoring enforcers because if it's an LGU enforcer, they often can't do anything unless there's a license. And of course they do have coordination with local PMP pretty much wherever they go. It's always helpful. There's another motorcycle that was parked on the corner near Commonwealth, having to lift it because the steering lock. Put that on the tow truck, it will be taken to Tumana. There's a fixed rate for motorcycles. I think it's 1,500. Right now these Jeeps are blocking the first two lanes, and behind them is a bunch of cars. What happens is they go to these eateries and they obstruct the highway in the process. So it's not only the jeepneys that will get ticketed, it's also the taxi and then the private vehicles behind. That's the downside of having these eateries that consume the sidewalks and the easements of Commonwealth. Same with the repair shops, the junk shops. All of their customers obstruct the road every single day. And on this sidewalk, you'll see two vans. They're being picked up now by the towing crews. They don't have drivers, so that's why they're being towed away to clear the sidewalk. And the team are also looking at this little red one parked on the sidewalk. If I had to guess, it's probably for a nearby eatery. I just wonder, how do people build car washes and eateries on a sidewalk or an easement? Because you can't own that land, right? So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can somehow, but I'm not sure. It doesn't seem right. A to Z, that's an interesting name. The driver for this jeepney already jumped in. He's being issued a ticket for parking on the sidewalk. Many jeepneys do use the sidewalks of Commonwealth as their permanent garage. It's the same with this one here, being ticketed for the same reason. While they were dealing with the jeepneys, they flagged down this rider. Unfortunately, the passenger on the back is wearing a substandard helmet designed for bicycles, plus the driver's wearing slippers. Over here you'll see a private vehicle. Towing crew already making their video. Enforcer's already issued his ticket, taking his photos, and the tow truck will pick it up. These vehicles here are now being issued tickets, parked on Commonwealth. I can see the one at the front already handed over their license, so no problem there. And actually there's one more vehicle behind those that's also being issued a ticket. He has handed over his license already. And there's also motorcycles on the sidewalk. This is in front of Commonwealth Market. The interesting thing is, right next to where the motorcycles were parked, there's a sign that says no motorcycle parking. And although someone's put these barriers here and these rocks made into a parking area, that's actually still part of the sidewalk. So I don't know why they extended out this far, basically cutting the sidewalk in half. And by the furniture shops, there's a lot more motorcycles parked on the sidewalk. Actually, they're rushing to take all the furniture inside because they're worried that the sidewalk clearing team might confiscate it. As long as there's a driver, it is only a ticket, so it's more affordable compared to having it impounded. And what amazes me is even with enforcers here, he'll start the motorcycle, no crash helmet, no shoes, and then just ride it along the sidewalk. I know it's only a short distance, but still, why not push it, right? Makes more sense. The guy over there has been banging on the gate of the house to try and warn them about the 2 motorcycles that are going to be impounded any moment now. That's the thing, these are really full-time parking as a garage on the sidewalk. Well, no one came out, so towing crew are taking it now to the tow truck. And here goes the second bike, also being taken over to the tow truck. There's a bunch more motorcycles parked on the sidewalk over here. Usually when the team go here, they immediately push these motorcycles inside. I've seen it so many times. I think this might be the first time I've actually seen these motorcycles apprehended, because really every time they rush them inside before the enforcers can write out a ticket. But today they're just not fast enough. And one more being pushed off the sidewalk here by the towing crew. Honestly, I'm surprised people don't take their bikes inside. It doesn't occupy that much space. And aside from saving you from tickets for illegal parking, it also makes it safer from thieves, because a lot of motorcycles are stolen in Metro Manila. Anyway, they've written out all the paperwork, the impound notices, the tickets, and they're loading everything onto the tow trucks. Looks like one of the riders did come out now. Unfortunately, it's too late, it's already on the tow truck. This one's also been issued a ticket. It looks like the driver did run out now, so it's only a ticket instead of being impounded, if they show a valid license. Sometimes drivers can't. It's meant to be a pretty wide sidewalk, but it's always obstructed by parked vehicles, many of them visiting the repair shops. There used to be signs here saying do not park, do not obstruct the sidewalk, even though you don't need a sign. The problem is someone ripped them down, and if I had to guess, well, now you might be thinking, well, what are their options? Well, it's quite simple. You knock down the wall of your property and you push it back around 4 foot, and then you don't obstruct the sidewalk anymore. You often see motorcycles parked under the footbridge, especially in the shade to keep it cool. I think this is the first time I've seen a car parked directly under a footbridge like this. And this is actually meant to be part of the walkway for pedestrians. But as you can see, the car turned into a parking space. And over here, you'll see the cars have spilled out onto the sidewalk also. There's another one being ticketed over here. It looks like there's a bunch of motorcycles in front of that also. This is what happens. People will take a little bit of space, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Before you know it, there's no more sidewalks. Commonwealth is actually meant to have very wide sidewalks because the number of lanes of traffic. But gradually, year by year, they're shrinking. They become canteens, junk shops, car washes, parking spaces. Pedestrians and commuters especially lose out. Just look at this, for example. What happened to the wide sidewalk of Commonwealth? No more. They put a gate here and converted it to a parking area for motorcycles. That's extreme. That's really extreme. Now the sidewalk at Commonwealth is just narrow. You think it's a little inner barangay road. I already saw some drivers running out to these vehicles. They probably saw the enforcers further along the road and thought we'd better move our cars before they get this far. Looks like there's one private vehicle and then a taxi. I saw the drivers come running out and they were looking down at the enforcers. That's the thing, they'll go here, they'll set up this canteen on the easement, people will start parking here, eating here, and then they get ticketed for illegal parking because it's really a sidewalk and an easement. You'll see Hong Cruz standing nearby. This one, it's going on the tow truck, no driver. I don't know where the driver is, very curious, but no driver, so it's getting cleared from the sidewalk. And it looks like those motorcycles are going to be ticketed. I heard it myself. They said every time we go here, you added another row. How long until there's really no more sidewalk left? It would be better, I guess, if they let the workers take their motorcycle inside so they won't have any problem. This is one of those situations where if you issue tickets, people would say, hey, you're heartless, you have no consideration. If you don't issue tickets, people will say, hey, you're lazy, you're corrupt, you're letting people occupy the sidewalk, maybe they're giving you money. It's always like that. If you issue tickets, you're the bad guy. If you don't issue the tickets, you're the bad guy. And it actually looks like the sidewalk clearing team are taking away some of the fences that were used to convert the sidewalk into a parking space. This is not the first time they've had issues like this. I can tell you many times they've spoken, not only in this area but just a little bit further along the condo building. They did the same thing, and it seems like every time the team go here it gets wider and wider and wider, and there's a breaking point where the MMDA have to say enough is enough. This isn't really a parking area, this is really a sidewalk. And this is one of the more unusual obstructions in the bicycle lane. The thing that worries me is the condition of the horses. They look in really, really poor condition. Look at how skinny he is also. Same with the one over here, really not looking in good condition at all. Trying to take a little bit of shade. It's so hot today. Sorry if I'm losing my breath, but it is really hot. Poor horses. Even the smell of this horse smells like when you see a cat that's about to die and you know they're just kind of withering away. That's what it smells like, I'm sorry to say.